Hello, my name is Mariah Mewborn, and thank you so much for tuning in to my presentation. Um, my research project's title is The Effects That Aggressive Pornography Has on Married Women Due to Their Spouse's Usage. Um, Now my camera does not work, unfortunately, so I did put my picture over here in the right-hand side just to give you a visual of who is speaking, but it has nothing to do with the topic, so gosh forbid this goes somewhere, let's just take my picture down. So I'm not the the face of aggressive pornography. Um oh yeah, and just a little disclaimer, my topic is a little explicit, so I will be using some vocabulary that might not be used in the home or in the church, so be prepared for that. But moving along, my thesis statement is the effects aggressive porn has on married women, from self-esteem due to the lack of attention from their partners to things married women feel pressure to do in the bedroom because they have to keep up with the things their spouses are watching, which has it just the biggest topic, the biggest main point that I am going to get to. But to give a little bit of background, throughout my research, of course, we've looked at about 30 plus different sites and references. So with those 30 plus, in the beginning of all of them, no matter what I was looking up, because it all was based off of pornography, the first thing they did was define what pornography meant to them and their their topic, because not only did I do the research just on the pornography in marriage, but of course you have to go all the way back to addiction, and you have to go back to not just addiction in men but addiction in women and how it affects the two brains. So you have to go into the neurosurgeon of it all. And so a lot of my stuff is medical periodicals and medical journals, as well as people just doing primary research in colleges and in marriages. Some of the main sources that I found were, like I said, medical journals and family counselors or marriage counselors and stuff like that who wrote books on the topic. So but for my research project or research paper, I chose these three to identify what pornography is. Now, I'm not going to read the three to you, but I am going to read the last one because I did think it was a little funny and very correct. Because it's very hard to describe what pornography is other than, explicit videos that brings arousal into the brain. That would be one. But this one is kind of funny, is I don't know what it is, but I know it when I see it. And for the feminist book that I read on pornography, that is what their definition was, which I thought was pretty funny. So the effects of porn addiction. So of course I told you that you have to go back and see what is the effects of porn addiction. So it can cause infidelity and divorce. It causes you want to watch more pornography, so you become addicted to the pornography. Porn leads to the loss of interest in family, and it prolongs men. It prolongs men to want to watch more porn, as well as it objectifies women. So that that's just the soft of it all. And then how does it affect just men? Of course, there's a lot more, but just for time's sake. They view women as less than. They feel like they have to be in control and the dominant in the bedroom. Also, men and women view pornography very differently. Men are more than 6 times likely to view pornography as than females, and more likely to spend more time viewing the pornography, while women seem to prefer to watch cyber sex with their partner as like a prelude to sex. So more so men do it on their own as a secret, or, to just relieve themselves, but in the privacy of themselves, and women more so use it, before sex to get yourself started. I thought that was really interesting. Um, so how does pornography affect women? Well, just a brief, 88% of pornography has violence against women in it. So that's how it mainly affects the women, just overall, not in the marriage. It's showing the man that this is what you can do. If you want to have a little bit of violence, this is how you're going to do it. So by the man watching this, he's pretty much going to go into the bedroom and mock it. So by pornography being a form of media, and what is media? Media shapes minds. And if a man watches, which many different journals clarified that regular basis watching pornography is 3 to 4 times a week, and so they're imprinting these images into their brain, and at some point it will just become first nature to act this way inside the bedroom. Emotional arousal images imprint and alter the brain, triggers an instant, involuntary, but lasting biochemistry memory trail. Once a neurochemical pathway are established, they are difficult or impossible to delete. Erotic images also commonly triggers the viewer's flight or fight sex hormones, producing intense arousal states that appear to fuse the state of mind, arousal, and unnecessary emotional fear, shame, anger, and hostility. So this is all the emotions that you're getting while watching pornography, especially violent pornography. So of course, with my research, you have to look at all the sides and opinions. And one of the opinions is feminist pornography. There's a whole bunch of books on the topic, and feminists really do have a view on it. So really their view is that overall it's degrading to women. There's always, if you look at how the camera is angled, something as simple as the camera, it's always usually over the man's shoulder or under the woman. So it shows the dominance and the power of the man standing over the woman. Or it's something as aggressive as calling the girl a B word, or something less than, or spitting on her. Even though these are weird, and we would think that these are weird fetishes and weird topics that someone would want to type into their browser, it's actually very common. Um, but feminists don't just see it as objectifying just women. Feminists see it as objectifying the man and the women. They just realize that, it's more of a power struggle for the woman. So this says, feminists consider generally consider feminists generally consider pornography demeaning to women. They believe that the depiction of sexuality for exotic purposes are degrading to their subjects. And then at the bottom it says it can also lead to the objectification of men. So we already talked about the 88%. Those who consistently look at even nonviolent porn are more likely to support statements that promote abuse and sexual aggression of both women and girls. And then another statement, just some overall facts. An analysis of 33 students found that exposure to both nonviolent and violent porn increases aggressive behavior, including committing violence and assaults. So just by you watching these images, not even violence, it's imprinting into your brain that these things are okay, or it's shaping your mind, because like I said, pornography is a form of media. So, how do all these things affect a marriage? Well, within a marriage, by watching pornography, it can foster unhealthy fantasies and behavior. It can intervene with personal morals and growth and development of a healthy and mature relationship, especially in a in a marriage or a family. So by reading a lot of different marriage counselors' journals and books, the facts that they gave me was 68% of divorce causes involved in one party meeting a new primate over the internet. 56% involve one party having a obsession with internet pornography websites. 47% involved in spending excessive time on the computer, and 33% involved spending excessive time in chat rooms. Now, these are all reasons why that led up to divorce in a marriage. So by repeatedly watching pornography in a marriage, these are some of the effects. Distorted perception about sexuality and the things that the partner would want, increased appetite for more bizarre type of pornography. You might have started off with something simple, but now you're watching just the most bizarre things going on, and I bet halfway through you're asking yourself why. Um, the decreased satisfaction with your partner's sexual preference, effects, and physical appearance. So the more and more you're watching these photoshopped women who, look like they have the perfect body, and you're fantasizing about, oh, this is how my wife should look, or this is the type of woman that I have, but really they've been photoshopped in, down to the T. And then you go and you look at your beautiful human wife that, is uncut, and you ask yourself, well, why isn't she like this, soft tone, touch looking girl on my cell phone? And in reality, she's not real. So you start to fantasize about things that are unrealistic. And viewing morological relationships as normal and a natural behavior. So your natural behavior of kissing her and touching her becomes more aggressive, and you start to yank her around, and more things that you would see in porn. There's a great video that I found that gives just a little bit more information. Oh, here we go.
Pornography, is it inherently wrong in a marriage, or is there a point at which it becomes a problem?
Well, let's talk about the nature of pornography just to start with. You can become addicted to pornography. You really can, and men do. So look at it this way for a minute. Imagine sex is one of the most significant ways we connect up with somebody that we love and that we care about. That magical way of biologically holding and connecting. And so you have somebody who, in that process, begins to take that away from the relationship. They begin to develop a secret life around it. They begin to be more interested in images on a screen than they might a relationship with a spouse or their partner. So that obsession, that preoccupation, imagine that growing and growing. So all of a sudden there's a compartmentalized secret life over here, and a lack of preference for a life with somebody who's your lover and your soulmate.
So they're choosing porn over their spouse.
So think of it that way for a minute. You've got a choice here. On the one hand, you could be looking at pornography, and that's where you capture your sexual life and your satisfaction. It's secret, it's private, nobody knows about it. And over here, you have a significant other that you should be in an intimate relationship with. Men are choosing this option in droves. Absolute droves.
Really? So as a wife, if you spot your husband, or you check his browser history, or you think he's got an issue, do you broach the subject with him? Should you be freaking out? What should you do as a wife?
It's uncomfortable.
You broach it. You broach it whether it's your kids or whether it's your spouse, because he may have a significant problem. Or at least, if it's not at the level of addiction yet and that level of preoccupation, he's doing something that's taking away from the relationship itself. He's leading a secret life, and she's going to be feeling that. So remember that. She's going to be feeling betrayal, lack of trust. So she's going through her own process. And we look at that not just as a woman getting getting sort of wounded in this, finding out her partner, husband's betraying her at some level.
Yeah, I feel like I would be blaming myself.
Yes, or blaming yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not sexy enough. Maybe
Right.
there's something wrong with me. We believe that women are not just hurt, they're not just wounded, they're traumatized when they find out their husbands have been leading this